Did you know that reusing some materials is one of the easiest things to do, and not doing it can cause a lot of harm to the world? Hello, my name's Sebastian, and today I'm going to present to you recycling, what it is, why it's helpful, and what materials you can and shouldn't recycle. So, to start off, according to the US Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, which explains how recycling conserves natural resources and also reduces landfill waste, saves energy, etc. Recycling is a process in which materials like plastic, wood, construction materials are go through a process in which they are put together in a different form so that they can be used again. Now, this is very important because by reusing these materials that we can use, we are ensuring that we're not cutting down on any other materials that we don't necessarily need. So, following up on that, according to the Association of Plastic Recyclers, which describes the process of recycling and pretty much what it is and what you shouldn't recycle. So, some materials that can be recycled include plastic bottles and cans, but in order for this to happen, they must be in a recycling bin. So, if you throw everything away in the same bin that is just meant for general trash, this is not going to be recycled. So, you need to keep a recycling bin separate from your regular bin, and then all the recyclables go in that. So, that way you ensure that everything is recycled and you reuse the materials that you can use. So some objects that you um, can't reuse include plastic bags like Ziploc bags because it causes a problem in the process and overall it's just not good. So yeah, be careful with what you recycle. And according to the World Wildlife Fund, which discusses how recycling helps the environment and what problems are caused by not recycling, recycling is very important to nature, and it makes it that we use materials that we already have instead of cutting down on some that we don't need. And this is very important because some animals like pandas, etc., are already on the bridge of extinction. So if we don't recycle and we keep using these materials that we don't need, that are a big part of these animals' habitats, then we're just making the extinction process faster and we're making it harder for these animals to keep living. So by us recycling, we are letting these animals repopulate and reconstruct their base. So that way, nothing bad happens to these animals. According to the National Institutes of Health, or the NIH, which covers how to properly manage waste and recycle, this source discusses the benefits of recycling of some materials like construction debris. So, as I said before, this is very important because construction is something that is everywhere in the world, and the material that is used for this a lot is wood. Now, wood is seen everywhere in the world, but if we use it for everything, then the animals that live in these forests or jungles and things like that, they're eventually going to go extinct because they have nowhere to live. So, by using materials and debris that we already technically don't need for one person and they recycle it, another person can use it. And that way, we're not cutting down materials that we don't need, like wood and things like that. And this is very important because wood is not a material that can be regrown quickly, and it's very important to sustain a lot of communities and overall animal wildlife. And a lot of materials that shouldn't be recycled include electronics because these can start fires and you have to be careful with things like that. So it makes it overall a worse process if you throw in something like an electronic phone or computer in a recycling device. So for everyone to start this and to help the world, you can look at different things. So firstly, you can look at your town's waste website to see what they take because it's not the same for every town and city. So you have to follow their rules to make sure that you're recycling the right objects and you're not recycling anything that is basically just going to kill everything and wildlife around us. Second of all, you can keep a container where you throw recyclables separate from your regular trash because that ensures that what you throw away can be recycled. Number three, you should never put recyclables inside a plastic bag and throw them in items straight into the bin because by putting it in a plastic bag, these items aren't getting recycled because like I said previously, plastic bags don't get recycled. So you need to make sure that everything is done right. And lastly, you should encourage recycling in your home. So if you have people over or you go to somebody's house, you should let them know about recycling and why it's so important to us. So that way, if they're in your house, they recycle what should be recycled. And whenever you go to their house again or wherever you go, you can show them you recycling and pretty much demonstrate that you're really serious about that you care about the world and encourage them to do the same. So yeah, if you want to save the world and make sure that no problems happen, you should begin to look into recycling. Thank you.